Hello, everybody, and welcome to Freedom Friday. Oh, it's so much fun. For any of you guys who've been on this with me, you know that this begins the moment you walk into my space, and it's just so beautiful. And there's so much. It's like, oh, maybe we should have just turned the camera on, but yeah. So this concept, actually, the reason why I wanted to invite Kristen and dive into this concept, if hopefully some of you were able to experience this, and actually my daughter Emma was actually she's doing University High School has something called Winterm, where they focus intensively on one class for an entire month, and her class is on the New Yorker magazine.
Oh, nice.
And she had to do the talk about the town, and she's like, I want to talk about the bazaar that we went to, and to know about that. She was so impacted. And I've been to some of your other I forget what you guys call them, the markets,
the first Saturday
bazaars, and they've all been wonderful. But there was something about the holiday one that just felt like, ooh. And it was just like the moment you walked in, what you could feel is this merger and integration and flow between all the different spaces. So Kristen has the Playful Soul and kitchens by design that are joined by one portal, by a door. And she also had a working kitchen in there. So there she is. If you didn't know who she was just the woman working in the kitchen that day, serving you amazing food. So the whole thing and the whole experience and how it was aligned between all the different aspects that you bring. I mean, you're in the store and the different light fixtures and furnishings, which of course you don't feel like you're in a store. It's like I'm in an exhibit of magical energy. And then you have at the different beautiful tables, there's different healers providing tarot readings and showing their beautiful jewelry, and then there you are in the kitchen serving food.
Yes.
So, and which, by the way, it's all intuitively designed food. So when we speak to, how does that kind of thing happen? Does it happen when there's like this map that's drawn and this pinpoint to-do list and structure? Now, there is a place and a purpose to how we connect into the rational mind and structure. It helps us to get things done in this human reality. But what's birthed into that structure is that divine feminine spirit, intuitive magic. So when I speak of divine by design, it's tapping into both of those things. So bringing that energy into the structure that creates the realities.
Exactly.
So some of the things I tapped into, a lot of you might have heard of Feng Shui. So when I started studying Chinese medicine, really Qigong, when I started practicing Qigong, one of the things I found out is that all of Chinese medicine, all of ancient Chinese painting, all of the way they, like the I Ching and the way they organize structures and the concept of Feng Shui, so all of that came from these ancient Chinese masters that were practicing Qigong. So they were connecting into the energy and intuitively were able to see these structures and then able to manifest different frameworks to help this part of us connect into that. So that piece is really important because even I will teach the structure. And again, it's important. We've got to teach the structure, but that deeper piece that I'm always guiding people to is the message, the essence, the energy beyond and within the structure, which is how your spirit connects in, which just like when we open to that, it's like for possibility at every level. When we talk about healing, when we talk about even this space, right? Technically, if you were to follow like Feng Shui rules, like I'm not following the structure of rules. I'm following what I feel. The space is alive and it's changing. There's so many stories about what comes and goes from this space. And it comes from within. So the more that I'm within, I'll start to feel in and notice those things. So I'd love for you to kind of take over and speak to whatever's coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of who I am and what you will see at the thing like the bazaar, which is kind of bizarre because like why are we doing this at Kitchens by Design? Why are we
and I didn't mention the music.
The music,
yeah.
Michelle Crusher, she's amazing. Yes. So for me, the bazaar represents just the essence of life. I mean, my father was an industrial arts teacher. He made me a dollhouse when I was 9 years old, and that's where it all began for me. With that coupled with the cooking with my aunts and my grandmothers and my parents, and so there's this whole marriage for me of walking into a space, feeling the energy of the space, knowing what it wants, taking it to the next level. You know, creating that. Aesthetic and functionality that works together. And it is a very intuitive approach for me. It's not something that I will 100% claim. It's also not something that I talk about with my client base to a large degree, but it's something that I'll say morphs or grows. It then translates into what we're cooking in the kitchen, what we're doing in the kitchen. For me, like I went through a whole thing, still am, about the idea of the kitchen table being stripped out of the kitchen. That for me has been a huge social change that I think has changed the way families operate. So there are a lot of things for me that go into play. Always pushing for a kitchen table to create that family community. There's so much about it. And it's funny that you mentioned your daughter with New York, because that was another jumping off point for me. So I have a business presence there. We started doing work there in about 2006 and purchased an apartment down in Greenwich Village, and did that whole thing. And if you've ever been to Henry Bendel, which was a department store on Fifth Avenue. You would go in on a Saturday, and there were local vendors from all over the world, but from New York, that would come in, and there would be a woman making shoes. There would be a woman, stringing jewelry. There would be a woman, that had handmade these butters for face and makeups and all these handcrafted things within this, sort of sterile retail environment. And it was just alive, and when you walked in, you just felt music all around you. So for me, having the playful soul and Kitchens by Design merged, it didn't feel, and it still doesn't to me, it didn't feel like a huge departure from what I already do. Although it does have an awkwardness about the marriage of it somehow, and I think that speaks to maybe us as a society not tapping into that level of intuition, not tapping into that level of what feels good to me in this moment. How can I create and craft things for my family, whether it be body products, things that you're eating, your environment, bringing plants in. It's all completely interconnected to me. As an interior designer by trade, I don't know how not to incorporate those things that just up-level our health, up-level our, mental health, energetic health in every possible way. So it's I'm loving the direction that we're going. I can step into it in a bigger way, and I'm working on that. And the bazaar is probably my favorite aspect of what we're doing right now, because I have the opportunity, and I can bring local community together. All of these people that are putting so much of their love and their spirit into these products and to these services. And it really is, we have just an amazing service-oriented community. And I think the more we get back into those kinds of environments, the more we're all going to thrive.
God, I almost want to cry.
It's moving.
It's so really moving, because that's what the feeling was. Like, you're in this space, and yet we are like across space and time. Like, you could see this as being this beautiful community gathering of not just women, but of people supporting each other in such a loving way. She's right. Like, I think I bought nail polish things.
Yeah, I know. It's all related.
From Gail's wife.
I know.
And they're amazing. They looked like amethyst swirled with white, because they're these little things that you haven't seen. You like stick them on. They're very easy to use, and because I'm done with like gel pedicures, because they destroy my precious nail beds.
I know.
And I went to Mexico for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was really rough sand, and I'm in and out of water shoes and flippers, and you know what? They lasted for 2 weeks. So
I know it.
And the way, she was just so everybody, like that feeling, that vibe, that connection, that community. There are two things that were coming up. One, I want to go back when you were talking about some of the evolutions of like, this is the structure, this is the lineage, this is how I was raised, you know, the experiences that you opened to with your father,
Right.
The industrial engineer and creating the dollhouse, and then, you know, growing up with women who were passing down the cooking,
Right.
the gift of that. So it's very cool right now because we're moving into water in the lunar calendar. So we've been in the metal element for the past 2 years, and we're opening into water for the next 2. So beginning February 1st. And what water is all about is our inheritance, our lineage, our bloodline, our life force reservoir. So there's a piece of that is that, and it's really nudging us to connect into that, but not just as it is, like not just like that's dead, that's the past,
Right.
that is what it is. No, like how can we enliven that? How can we take what we've been given in our inheritance and really bring our spirit in and take that into the next level to meet this right now reality that we're all living in.
Right.
So that upgrade, that up leveling, that like literally like when you think of design, like let's get the blueprints out and look at what we want to create here.
Right.
It connects in through the same system that holds the lineage. So it's not like a limited thing. Like, yes, this is your inheritance, but it also is where you can download and upgrade infinitely to whatever it is you need. So that's going to be a huge, it's always available, but especially the nudge. Like we had to do a lot of cleanup work over the past 2 years to prepare us for where we're going. So to look at, you know, I would guide each of you who are tuning in today to look at how this has been showing up in your life. You know, you were able to speak to it. You're feeling the calling. You merged. When was it? What year did you bring them together?
2018.
2018.
I adopted the playful soul in 2016, and so it's just sort of been a little bit of a roller coaster.
Yes.
You know, but a very well deserved.
I love that you use the word adopted because yes.
Yeah. And you know, 4 years before that, I adopted Custom Drapery Service, which is a 70-year-old sewing room. And so, you know, it's some of my, the people I'm lucky enough to work with and call coworkers every day, will tell me that I have an identity crisis, or, you know, I'm not sure what I want to be when I grow up. And the reality is that I sort of do, and travel, this is just coming up for me, but, you know, we're talking about adventure lies within and traveling and all of that. But, one thing that hits me when I travel, especially to my favorite places right now, which are Egypt, Jordan, and Turkey, is the fact that they have what they call these factory schools, and they bring people in off the street, younger teenage children and older people too, and they're teaching them the art of mosaicery, sewing, weaving rugs, pottery. So these people are getting hands-on that artisan type of mentality, and that's also what feels like is being cultivated there. So, you know, teaching some of these lost trades, which cooking, frankly, is, you could say, is one of them.
Yes.
And I love cookbooks. I think the imagery is beautiful. I'll open them and you know, find a great recipe that I never will follow, and I roll
inspired.
with it. I get inspired.
I was going to talk about
by
this.
my
I'm glad you went there.
Right?
Yes.
So for me, a big part of the even design is it's not following the rules like you said with Feng Shui.
Yeah.
But it's cracking open that what inner guidance am I receiving? You know, do I want to add this to this meal? Do I want to add that? And it's really it's using your hands. It's immersing yourself in the textures of the food, and not being afraid to really just practice, try, design, create. It's going to be great. Yeah. If you really just follow your, you know, alive in your senses. And that's one thing that's been really coming through for me in the past 2 years is just this heightened awakening of senses, being able to smell and taste. I'll cook like everything that I cooked for the bazaar that you came to the last time. I never tasted a thing. I never stuck the spoon in and tasted it. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I just trust that it's going to be great. So it's a process, but it's something that, you know, I do every single day.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you out there who are like, this sounds amazing, but it's really scary, I can speak to this because I would love to hear. It sounds like you had some people that were nurturing it early on. I didn't have that at all. I had TV dinners and let's make it as easy as possible growing up.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was very afraid of food. As soon as I had kids, I was always freaking out about food and from all different angles. And when I started doing my training and opening up my energy and getting more aligned, it just arrived for me. So obviously I've done this before. There's something in that lineage. There's something in alternate lifetimes, because once it arrived, I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fun. It just completely shifted how I connected to food. And you're right, the sensorial, and it's like every time I make whatever, it's different every time. And in the same way, like sometimes I'll taste stuff and sometimes I never will, and I know it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my family's funny because they'll say, that was really good tonight. Write down how you made it.
Yeah, no,
it's not gonna happen.
No, I know. I try to, for any of you who go to my website and you find my recipes, I'm like, I'm sorry, I try. I don't measure anything. It's like a little more of that.
A little more of this, a little of that. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So I'm just finding that the more I can stay in the flow of living life in general in that way, it's comforting.
Yeah,
it's very comforting, and it there's so much more joy in it, and acceptance and just love. Really, I mean, it just feels good.
Yeah. So, I mean, in a way, it's you bringing you into everything, whether it's your work or your cooking or your traveling. And that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, it is.
That's the secret to joy, is being yourself, and being yourself in all aspects of life. So this is just one of many examples of how you can play with that. It doesn't have to be like a serious but even I mean, everything, I was just the way I put myself together since I've opened my energy, it's so much fun. My daughter looked at me today. I drove her to school and I have this big, you've got a beautiful jacket on too. I had this big fluffy coat. She's like, you're so fancy. I am today. Now some days, not so much, but this is a fancy day. So it's really just, it's so comfortable and playful soul when you when you allow yourself to tap in and play with what this looks like. So I encourage you guys to give it a try, with your space. It's a safe place to start, because sometimes the internal, because what we're talking about is inside, outside, outside, inside. So a lot of times going in here may feel a little scary at first, but as you start to work out here, especially at this deeper level, we're like, I'm going to tune in, that helps with all the other, because it's interconnected. So, starting with a space, you can start with just a small space and feeling it is there something that needs to change? Is there something that needs to come in? Is there something that needs to go out? And the same thing when you're cooking. If there's something where it's there's one way you've done it every time, just kind of open up. Is there something else that wants to change tonight with how I'm preparing this? Does it need a little more heat? Does it need, last night I made soup, I used one of your amazing spice combos, which I love that you don't put the ingredients on, because I know it's just and then it was it needed pesto stirred into it. And I forgot I was going to toast garbanzo beans to put on top. I'm going to do that tonight. So
nice.
Magic.
I love it. It is magic. Kitchen magic.
Do you guys have another bazaar coming up in February by chance? What is the date of the next one, if you know?
It's always the first Saturday of the month.
Okay. So the Lunar New Year, I know all this, will be Tuesday the 1st. So then it will be the 5th.
I think it's the 5th. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. We're excited. It's always exciting when Bazaar Day comes.
Yay. And then I can let Emma know that too, because I know she'll want to come back.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then from my perspective, some of the things that I was tapping into today, connecting into the divine energies of the universe and what she's serving up as of February 1st. On the 1st, I'm going to be doing an online offering called Pounce into 2022. So in addition to it being water, we're going from the mighty ox to the powerful tiger. So big, huge, energetic shift that can support us in all of these different beautiful things we talked about today. So any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I just welcome everyone to come in and enjoy.
Oh my God.
Take
At
part.
the very least, just find yourself in both of the spaces. They do have separate entrances, but both of them, like even, I think I got this. This is amazing. Let's see if it can show up. So this little guy, this had to have been years ago. Do you remember when you were making?
Ago?
Yeah, it had to have been 3 years ago. Maybe you can tell me if I need to do something different with my plant. But so you can see that the wood here, like, is this one that you made?
Actually, Eric
made this one. So he would see the different patterns that were natural in the wood and then accent them. So there's these little dots. So when I found this one, I was like, oh my God, this is like an ancient Chinese master. Either there's two things. Yeah, riding a tortoise or he's holding something. And then let's see. Oh yeah, there's a little monkey over here. It's so cool. Yep. So yeah, I got this on the Kitchens by Design side of the shop. So all right, lady. Thank you so much. You guys enjoy your weekend. Fun. And maybe I'll see you at the bazaar February 5th. Bye.